What's going on, y'all? This your man Pristine back with another video. Yes, I'm back with another unboxing. Now hold up, check this out. Check this out. Cause you IGs is killing me lately, man. You IGs, man, you internet gangsters, man. You internet thugs, you know what I'm saying? You know, behind them keys, running off at the trap, little thugs. Now, talking all this yin yang, Pristine don't be having the hottest devices on his channel. He ain't got no relevant devices on his channel. Man, are you kidding me? Have you watched my channel? Huh? Have you seen all the devices that have been featured here at Pristine Mobile Tech? And here I am with yet another device, if not the hottest commodity that's being talked about in the mobile industry right now, man. What you talking about, Pristine? I'm so glad you asked, man. God damn it. The Pocophone F1. It's right here, Pristine Mobile Tech. Let's crack this box. All right, y'all. Now, you guys know how I like to do before I crack the phone out of the box. I want to go over the specs, give you guys a clear-cut idea of what we're dealing with here with the Pocophone F1 by Xiaomi. All right. Now, first off, being the price. I think that's one of the main things that's just taken so many people by storm is the price for this particular device. I mean, the fact that it's got all the latest and greatest 2018 specs that can very easily rival some of the most expensive phones on the market right now, and they're charging a $300 price tag. Now, this phone was initially released in India at that particular price. I've yet to have seen it at that price here in the US. You can get it on Amazon, you can get it on eBay. I bought mine on Amazon, and so I'll definitely drop the link in the description. The price that I paid, it was like $389, so plus the taxes, it was like 408 or something like that, which still isn't bad, you know, for a device that has all the latest specs. You know what I mean? You know, some people say that this is the OnePlus killer. Well, it's like, how can you argue that when this phone has the same specs as the OnePlus and is completely undercutting it with the price? I mean, and it's actually even offering some things, certain things that the OnePlus doesn't have. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's pretty remarkable right there. But here go the spec sheet right here. As far as the display, we've got a 6.18 inch 1080 by 2246 pixel full HD plus display. Okay, we've got a PPI pixel density of 403. We've got an Adreno GPU 630. We've got Corning Gorilla Glass 3 on the front to protect this bad boy. Now we've got a Snapdragon 845 processor, 6 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of onboard storage that can be expanded up to 256 gigs. We do have a dual SIM slot situation, you know what I mean? So you can throw 2 nano SIMs up in the joint, or you can throw a nano SIM and an SD card to expand that memory. All right, we've got Android 8.1 Oreo fresh out the box. We're running MIUI 9.6. Now, as far as the cameras, of course, on the back of the device, we've got a dual camera setup. We've got a 12 megapixel primary camera, and we've got another 5 megapixel secondary camera that is specifically for depth information. Okay, the front-facing selfie camera, 20 megapixels. Pretty much all the bells and whistles that you can want with this particular camera. The camera's phenomenal. Definitely stay tuned for the dedicated camera review that I'm going to do for this phone, because that's going to be coming very shortly as well. We've got a 4,000 milliamp hour non-removable battery. We do have Type-C reversible connection for charging. We do have Quick Charge 2.0. All right, so you are able to quickly charge up your device if you need to top up really quickly and move on about your business. All right, now other notable features: Bluetooth 5.0, dual stereo speakers. This phone does have a notch. We do have the notch display. We've got an FM radio. We've got infrared facial recognition, similar to what we find in the iPhone X. We've got a fingerprint reader. We do have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Now, I'm not really too sure about the audio technology that's in this device. I'm not sure if it has DTS, Dolby Sound, or some of the other stuff like that. I don't think it's like a quad DAC or anything like that. But for those of you that like to plug in, I mean, hey, you do have that ability here on the Pocophone F1. Now, one thing that the phone is lacking, some people may knock it on, it doesn't have NFC, it doesn't have wireless charging. I couldn't find any sources. I'm pretty sure if I looked a little deeper, I'd be able to find, you know, whether or not the phone has an IP rating. Me personally, I don't care about that. I'm just mainly concerned about the fact that you're getting such a great value at such a such a wonderful price point. I mean, all the 2018 specs for 300 bucks, or not too, a little over 300 bucks. Come on, man. This phone is making waves all over the place, man. You know what I'm saying? I had to get it. And there was no way I couldn't get this device. It's one of the most, if not the most, talked about devices right now in the mobile industry. That's huge. All right. So the colors you can get this phone in, you can get it in graphite black, which is what this is. You can get it in steel blue. You can get it in Rocco red. And you can also get it in, you can get the Armored Edition, which has a Kevlar backing to it, and that actually looks pretty slick. Some people kind of knock the phone, because it has like a plasticky feelish back or whatever. It's like, man, 300 bucks for all the top end specs. I can care less about the back, man. But anyway, never mind what they talking about, man. That's the specs right there. Let's get the back. Let's get the phone cracked out this box, all right? Got the unboxing knife right here. Try not to cut myself and end up in my department. Shout out to the ER squad. Shout out to the Swedish ER. Man, if I can get this knife up in here. Oh, okay, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Man, really? Alright. Alright. See? Pocophone by Xiaomi. Presentation, Pocophone F1. As you can see, this is the global version. Okay. A little yellow back or yellow bottom of the box. All right, let's go ahead and get it on out. Boom. There we go. All right. So it appears as though at the top we get. Okay. Is that? Oh, that's not in English, so I can't read what that is, but I'm thinking that this is like yep, it's a quick start guide. And then we get a little clear TPU case. I like the fact that it's kind of got that darkish tint to it. I like that. Pretty nice look. All right, here's the device right here. Man, yes. Okay. Go ahead and peel off the little sticker there. Boom. There's one in the back. Man, the phone feels good in the hands. There it is. Wow, look at that. People actually complain about the way this back. This phone feels excellent in my hands. I like the way that it feels. Okay. Got a little cover for the camera. If I can peel that off without scratching the lens. Okay, there we go. Wow, look at that. Pocophone. Little branding there on the bottom. Okay, we'll set the phone aside for a second. Okay. Here's our USB to Type-C adapter. So that is how you're going to be able to quick charge your device. Here is the wall adapter. I'm not exactly sure what the wattage is on this device. It says it right there, but the writing is too small and I don't feel like straining my eyes. So I'll talk about that in follow-up videos on this particular device. And then you see right there in the box, we got a SIM ejection tool, which I've got tons of those, so there's no need to take that out the box. So ladies and gentlemen, that's bumpy cam, my bad. That's all that we have in the box for the Pocophone F1. So we will clear the table here. Keep that device nearby on deck. And here's the device. Okay, so as I mentioned, 6.18 inches. You can see, if you can see in the glare there, that the phone does have a notch design. We've got what looks to be an LED flash or an LED light right there at the top to the left of the ear receiver. Of course, we do have the ear receiver there, and then we've got the 20 megapixel front-facing camera. Okay, so we've got a 19:9 aspect ratio. Again, as I mentioned, 6.18 inches corner to corner. There is a little bit of a chin here at the bottom of the device. You'll see that, when I turn the phone on. And actually, here, let's just go ahead and power the bad boy on right now. Just cut right down to the chisace. Okay. See, you got a little bit of chin down there at the bottom. If I remember correctly, this phone is 82.7 screen to body ratio. Okay, so there's a much better look at it right there. So you see how the actual corners of the screen is rounded, and then we do have a little bottom chin down there at the bottom of the device. All right, doesn't show the notch right now, but once we get into the device, then it will. I believe you also under the display settings have the ability to either hide the notch or rock the notch. I mean, whatever your preference is. All right, now let's go ahead and put the phone to sleep. I like the fact that the button placement, all buttons are all on the right side of the device. So here's the power button, volume rocker, up and down. Okay, to the top of the device, here's our 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Now, some people may have an issue with that. You know what I'm saying? They may prefer for their headphone jack to be at the bottom of the device. I mean, that's where I'd prefer to have mine, but you know, it is what it is. I mean, the fact that you get a 3.5 jack gives you the ability to plug in. You know, if you're that serious about your music, you're not going to care where it's at on the phone, just as long as you're able to plug in and listen to your music. So I totally understand that. All right. Now here we've got a little noise canceling microphone right there. It's very teeny tiny, if you guys can see that in the glare. And then to the left of the device here is our SIM tray. This is where the dual nano SIMs are housed, or you can house a nano SIM and an SD card for memory expansion, as I mentioned, up to 256 gigs. Bottom of the device, we've got a little speaker grill, okay, a couple screws right there to the right and left of the charge port, Type-C port right there for charging, another little speaker grill. I know one of those is the bottom firing speaker. The other one is the microphone. The way we do have dual stereo speakers on this device, one is in the earpiece and then the other one is bottom firing. I'm not exactly sure which one of these is the bottom firing speaker, so I'll definitely test that out a little later on in the video. Now, again, looking at the back of the device, Pocophone branding on the back. Here's our perfectly placed fingerprint sensor. Here's our 12 megapixel primary sensor, and here's our 5 megapixel depth information sensor with the dual tone LED flash. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that is the cosmetics of this particular device. Now, as you can see, we're running MIUI 9. All right. It says lightning fast. Okay, English. Yes, choose your region. All right, y'all. So look, I'm going to go ahead and set the phone up real quick, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so hold it down. I'll be right back. All right, y'all. So we back in Pocophone F1 in the midst of some heavy hitters right here. Got the Note 9 here, iPhone XS Max right there. You know, we're gonna be doing some comparisons with these devices to see exactly where the Pocophone stacks up against a lot of the competition that is far more expensive than what it is. You know what I mean? And so, but yeah, got everything set up. Now, I haven't preloaded any of my applications on the device because I wanted to show you guys exactly the amount of gigabytes and everything that's used with the apps that come preloaded on the device. And so, as you can see here, we've got some applications here, browser security, music settings, themes. We get the Google Suite, video, file manager, tools, gallery. And then when you flip to the other page, we've got weather, calendar, notes, cleaner, Microsoft Suite, more apps, and then MIUI forums. And then when you swipe up on the device, this is how you get to your app drawer. And you know, it's very reminiscent to a stock Android experience. I mean, that's kind of what it looks like. But I mean, MIUI on top of Android, you know, it gives you a little bit more to customize. Some people don't like it. Me personally, I'm a fan of it because it's a little bit different. But I like everything that MIUI 9 is offering here. All right. But, you know, the good thing about this being an Android phone is if you're not really a big fan of the launcher that comes preloaded on it, then you can just put your own launcher on it and pretty much do what you want with the phone, as opposed to, you know, Apple. They basically keep you locked into their own ecosystem. I'm not saying Apple is a bad ecosystem. I'm just saying that it keeps you locked in and you don't have as nearly as much flexibility to change things around and customize as you do on an Android device. So that's another good thing about Android. Now, if you swipe down from the top, this is what gets you to your quick toggles and all of your notifications if you've got any. swipe down again, then again, that's how you access your quick toggles. So one swipe down, that gets you to all your notifications, and then a swipe down again, you get to all your quick toggles, and you are able to customize your toggles, move them around how you want to, so that you can have the configuration that you want to. As you can see, we've got mobile data, Wi-Fi, torch, which torch is the flashlight, silent, screenshot, Bluetooth, brightness, airplane mode, lock, rotate, GPS, and sort. And so you can sort the, sort them how you want them. And then, you get the little brightness slider right there. And that's pretty much that. Now, when we go into the settings, things are a little different. I mean, you'll see, like, typically on most Android phones, About Phone is usually all the way down here at the bottom. But Xiaomi does things a little differently. About Phone is at the top. And if we go ahead and click on that, this is where you'll see all of your hardware and software information. And so we get system update, device name, as you can see, the device name, Pocophone, model number, Pocophone F1, Android version, you can see 8.0. If I can get the camera to focus there, you guys go ahead and see that. Okay, Android security patch level, you see we got the latest security patch there. MUI version for Poco, 9.6. Okay, you'll see CPU, it's an octa-core, 2.6 gigahertz, which is blazing fast. The RAM, 6 gigs. Internal storage, you'll see 64 gigs, but as I mentioned, with all the applications that are preloaded on this device, you actually only get 54 gigs out of the box if you get the 64 gig variant. Now, again, there's a 128 gig variant that you can get, and so I'm thinking, that's about 10 gigs that's being utilized just with all the apps that come preloaded on it, so be mindful of that. But again, you do have micro SD card expansion up to 256 gigs. So you've always got that to fall back on as a bit of a cushion there. Okay, now another good thing that I like about the device is when you go into display, you've got your brightness level, reading mode, contrast, and colors, which you can change the contrast and the colors. You know what I mean? And so by default, it's just on default, which is kind of in the middle in between warm and cool. You notice that when you hit on warm, then you see the little dot there. It kind of gravitates more towards the yellowish orangish hue, and then you'll also see the screen kind of turn color as well. And I'm not sure if you could pick that up on camera, but that's in fact exactly what happened. When I hit cold, then you'll see the screen, it kind of gets more of a bluish tint. And you see the little white dot right there. It moves more towards the blue and the purplish aspect of things. And so it kind of gives you a cooler color tone on the screen. You can move that little slider around where you want to. You know what I mean? Me, I just put it on default because it's right in the middle. But you've got a automatic contrast, increased contrast, and then standard. And so again, by default, it's on automatic contrast, but you can change that if that's something that you want to do. Okay, now when we go out of that, we've got text size. I mean, so you can increase the size of the text. Double tap the screen to wake, which I do have that enabled. I really like that feature. Auto rotate screen. All that is if you turn the screen sideways, then the screen is going to turn with you basically however you want to hold your device. Okay, so that's a cool little feature. And then you've got raise to wake, which I also have that on as well. So if I set the phone down on its back and I pick it up, okay, there we go. And then when I pick it up, it's just going to wake up the device. Okay. Again, blazing fast fingerprint sensor, perfectly placed right there in the back where it ought to be. Barely tap it. And there we go. It just opens up the device with no problems. Okay, you'll see. Barely tap. Screen is off or it's locked. Okay. Barely tap. And it's open. Okay, so it's a blazing fast fingerprint sensor, works 100% of the time. All right. Now that's everything that falls under the display options. Now, if we take it down here to wallpaper, you've got a bunch of different wallpapers and things that you can choose from. Okay, again, like I said, I mean, this phone, it gives you a lot of options to customize. I mean, so this is some photos that I've taken with these excellent cameras. I'll get to that shortly. But then recently used, these are the two wallpapers that are used by default. And so this is just what that looks like. Okay. This is what the home screen wallpaper is, fresh out of the box. You can change those things around. But I like the fact that you've got different categories. Okay, so if you go to pre-installed, then look at this. You've got all these pre-installed little wallpapers and things that you can choose from. that are really colorful, pardon me, that are really going to take advantage of that 19:9 aspect ratio. You know what I mean? If you like darker colors, you can choose darker colors. If you like lighter colors, then you can choose lighter colors. Okay, but those are for pre-installed. Then you've got scenery. Okay, and so this thing is loading slow because I don't have Wi-Fi on. So again, this phone was released in India. And so again, you're going to get different speeds depending on the carrier that you're with. Now, this phone is GSM unlocked. This is the global version. It works with T-Mobile, AT&T, or any other GSM carrier, Metro PCS, Cricket Wireless, all that kind of thing. But it may not support the exact antenna bands that you need. Now, I'm in Seattle, Washington, and so I see that this thing kind of moves a little slow. I've got my T-Mobile SIM card in here, but it doesn't work as well with my T-Mobile SIM card in it. So it's probably going to do a little better when I pop in my AT&T SIM card, which is the same thing that took place on my Xiaomi Redmi 5 Plus, which is what I'm recording this video with. So I just went ahead and turned on Wi-Fi just so that we can kind of get things moving a little faster. But if you go to scenery, then you get a bunch of different cool little photographs that have been taken from a lot of beautiful different scenes that you can utilize as your wallpaper. Then if you're an animal fan, okay, you can choose animal, and then you'll see we've got about a list, 3, 6, 9, 12. You got about 12 different animal wallpapers that you can choose from that come preloaded. Creative. Okay. If you like artwork as your wallpaper, then you can take advantage. I think there's like 12, different pictures that you can choose from to utilize. If you like plants and flowers and things of that nature, we've got 12 more that you can utilize as your wallpaper. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, so they're pretty thoughtful and creative, which is, giving you all these options. Kind of reminds me of what we've seen on a Pixel phone. And so here's 12 more under the lifestyle, or 369. Okay, yeah, so there's 12 there, or 11. So if you like artwork and lifestyle and stuff like that, then, you've got some photos there that you can utilize as your wallpaper. Or, if you go to the Zedge app or any other kind of application where you can download wallpapers, then you can pretty much put whatever wallpaper you want on here. Now, if we go to themes, then these are some, you can choose between different themes. Now, the 3 that you have on here is default, limitless, and Poco, which Poco is obviously the theme that's chosen because this is the Pocophone. But this is Xiaomi's theme store, and so you can change the theme to just completely give your phone a whole new look. And then these are the ones that are on the initial page. If you hit Find More, then this is what takes you to the actual theme store, just kind of like what you see on a Samsung or LG device or any other device that has a theme store. So you can completely, download these themes. A lot of them are free. Some of them you're going to have to pay for, but nonetheless, I mean, just having the option to be able to completely change the look of your device is always a wonderful, wonderful thing, in my personal opinion. Now, if we go down here to lock screen and password, this is where you're going to manage, a lot of your like fingerprints and a lot of those things. Secure. This is where a lot of your security features are. So you've got manage fingerprints, set screen lock, privacy protection password, sleep, wake lock screen for notifications, wake with volume button, launch camera, and then when you go to advanced settings, then this is where you can choose like whether you want your notifications to be shown on your lock screen owner info, which that's where you go if you want to put like if you want to put something on your main screen, like how you see right there, it says Pristine's Poco F1, if the camera will focus right there. I did that by going onto lock screen owner info, and then you just type in Pristine's Poco F1 and hit OK, and then that little message is going to be displayed on the lock screen. So that's how you do that. Smart cover mode. This basically just like if you've got a smart cover on the device, once you close the smart cover, it locks the device. Once you open the smart cover, it unlocks the device. I have that turned off because I don't have a smart cover. It's like, why have that on using Juice? And then you got pocket mode. And so pocket mode, I've got that enabled. Basically, your phone is able to recognize whether or not it's inside of a pocket of some sort. And little touch gestures and things that may normally go off just by touching them, the phone will be a lot less sensitive while it's in a pocket, so you don't have to worry about like accidental presses and stuff like that while you're traveling on the go, while your phone's in your pocket bouncing around. So that's that. Then you got notification and status bar, and this is where like toggle position. So this is where you can go in and toggle your quick toggles when you swipe down from the top. This is where you go in and place the toggles where you want them. Okay. So you'll notice how like mobile data and Wi-Fi are the first two, but then when I swipe down, mobile data and Wi-Fi are the first two that's on my toggle screen right there. And so this is where you customize that, to have your quick toggles be where you want them to be. Okay. Then you got show connection speed, show carrier name, edit carrier name, collapse after touch, show unlock screen. All right, now if we click on home screen and recents, this is where you can change a lot of things that are on your home screen, like your launcher. So you've got the default launcher, as you can see right there, it says Poco launcher. If you click on that, this is where a lot of launchers that you put on the device will live. And so if you ever want to change your launcher, this is where you go, and whatever launchers that you download, a list is going to appear here, and you just click it, and then the phone is going to, change over to whatever that launcher is. Okay, so you see we're on the Poco launcher right there. All right, you've got turn on app vault, icon pack, and so this is where you can customize your icon packs. We've only got the icon pack for the Poco launcher on here, but whatever kind of icon packs that you want to download, that whole list is going to appear here, and you just simply choose it, hit apply, and then your icons are going to be whatever the icon pack that you want them to be. So you got app suggestion, group app automatically, manage app groups, group icons by color, scroll bar, fill empty cells, lock home screen layout, and or add install apps to home screen automatically. So whatever you download a new app is just going to pop up on the home screen, as opposed to just going into the app drawer. Show memory status and about. Okay, and so when you click on about, this just gives you information about the Poco launcher. So you've got like privacy policy and your user agreement, all that kind of thing. All right, so moving on down the list really quickly. So now if we click into full screen display, now this is where you're able to hide the notch and all that kind of thing. And so, and also this is where you can do, you can choose to have the navigation bar down here that has the home, back, and recents button, or you can do full screen gestures, which gets rid of the buttons at the bottom, and you've got actual gestures, just kind of like what you'll find on the iPhone. I noticed that a lot of Android phones are gravitating towards this particular style of navigating your device. Now, I can't say that it's as clean as it is on the iPhone, because I feel like the iPhone originated it since they came out with it first. But nonetheless, I mean, I guess, you know what I'm saying, it's a cool feature to have if that's something that you want to take advantage of. I've used it on other Android devices. You know, it seems kind of cool in the aspect of being able to take full advantage of the full 19:9 aspect ratio, because it's like if you can just do away with that navigation bar at the bottom, it's like, why not? If you can just use thumb gestures to be able to navigate your device. And it just also provides a different look for the phone. But every now and again, I find myself missing those buttons, and so I just kind of revert back to going back to them. I mean, to me, that's just conventionally, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the typical Android experience, and that's what I'm used to, just having those navigation buttons down at the bottom. But you'll notice if I hit that, then it's going to take you on a tutorial to learn the gestures, which I have not done because this phone is fresh out of the box. And so I have a little bit more information about that, a little later on. And for now, I'm just going to go out of that. But this is where you go if you want to switch over from the app, the navigation bar buttons on over to full-on gestures. And then you'll see we've got mirror buttons, hide screen notch. And so if I click on that, then you see at the top, it just adds a little black bar there. Okay, so you'll see I turn that off. There's the notch. Turn it back on. The notch isn't there anymore. Okay, so you do have that option. Now, it would be nice, you know what I'm saying, if they made that as simple as the blue Vivo 11 Plus, because on that phone, you just simply swipe down from the bottom left to enable or disable the notch. That's very convenient. You see all the stuff that we had to go through. Or they just, like I said, I mean, they don't really explain like where a lot of this stuff is at. So it's like you literally have to go through the phone and play with it and go into everything to learn about where other things may be, as opposed to it just being right there in your face. I mean, so I can't say that in that particular regard it's all that user-friendly, but nonetheless, it's good that if you're not a fan of the notch, but you want this phone, then you do have the ability to turn off the notch. This is where you're going to do that at. And then you got full screen mode. And so a lot of the applications that are not on full screen mode, if that's what you want them to do when you go into them, then you can just simply go here and select those applications and they will be in full screen mode. Now I know that sometimes it says that, you know, certain apps aren't really optimized for full screen mode. And so if you enable it for certain apps, the apps may not work properly. You know, I typically like to leave things as is. I don't play around with that type of stuff. But I mean, I guess that's just kind of like, you know, turn it on at your own risk. You know what I mean? And however the app acts, then that's just what it is. But, you know, you do have the option to have everything on full screen mode if that's what you want to do. All right. Now, I'm not going to go through this whole list, but just to give you an idea, you know, we got second space, which second space is a privacy feature that basically enables you to, or as my man Flossie Carter would call it, thought protection. You know what I'm saying? Where you basically, you can like choose different fingerprints. And if I like, if I open my device with this finger, then it's going to be my device. If I open the device with my left finger, then it's going to be a completely different layout. You know what I mean? And so this is something that will stop, you know, people from getting into your phone and browsing around. Or, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you live in that double life and your lady's like, look, let me see your phone because I don't trust you. I feel like you out here doing this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? She ain't got to know about that particular feature. You know what I'm saying? You just use that left finger and it's going to open up a whole nother layout. You know what I mean? And so it's going to appear as though everything is going to be nice and clean while she's looking at that particular version. But if you lock your phone and use your right finger to unlock your device, then it's going to be back to that grimy status. You know what I'm saying? Your phone, how you typically rock with it. I mean, so that is a dope feature to have. You know what I mean? I mean, if you want to keep your phone private and especially if other people are using your device, you know, people have a tendency to prowl around, man, be all in your photos, trying to find stuff and your personal information. That is a good tool, you know, I guess for stuff like that. And of course, if you are living that double life, then I guess that's a good feature for you to have as well, or thought protection, as my man Flossie would say. So that's what second space is. Battery, 4,000 milliamps, as I mentioned. Storage, Google, additional settings, Me accounts, sync, system apps, installed apps, dual apps, permissions, system app updater, app lock, and then feedback. Now, if you go into additional settings, this brings you to your date and time, language and input, region, privacy, authorization and revocation, quick ball, button and gesture shortcuts, notification light, headphone and audio effects, one-handed mode, accessibility, printing, backup and reset, meme mover. Now, if we go into button and gesture shortcuts, this is a cool feature to have because you're basically able to customize a lot of the bottom buttons here, the navigation bar buttons, to do different things. They'll do different behaviors based on where you set them to. Just like how, like if I want to lock the screen, you don't have a double tap to lock the screen. You have a double tap to wake the screen. But like if I want to lock the screen, I can just simply just long press on the back button and it locks the device. Okay, now I do have the ability to double tap to wake up the screen, okay, and then if you swipe up, you can put in your PIN number, or you can just go ahead and hit that lightning fast fingerprint sensor and unlock your device. But what you've got here, you've got launch camera, and you see like it says launch camera none. So if I go into that, I'm gonna get to choose which button I want to press to launch the camera. So it gives you the option to customize the buttons how you want to. And so it's like I can either double press the power button, long press the home button, long press the menu button, long press the back button, power plus the home button, power plus the menu button, or power plus the back button, or just have it at none, which is set at none. So, you know, the way that I want to, open up the camera is just simply click on the camera app. But if I want to open up the camera with another button, I can customize the buttons in order to do so. And so it's the same with all these. Take a screenshot. Okay, so I got it set to slide 3 fingers down. But if I want to change that, I can change the screenshot to long press on the home button, long press on the menu button, long press on the back button, and then you got a few more options to choose from as well. Same thing as the options that you've got to open up the camera app. Okay, so you've got that for launch Google Assistant, turn off the screen, which I just showed you. I've got the long press on the back button to turn off the screen. You've got turn on torch, which is the flashlight, long press on the menu button, close current app, none, open split screen, I've got that set to none, show menu, and this is mostly just stuff that's set up by default out of the box. And then your menu, this is where you can trigger your menu functions. Okay. And then you've got automatically disabled navigation buttons, which if you tap on that, then you can choose the applications that when you choose that app, it's just going to automatically disable the navigation keys so that you can take full advantage of that 19:9 aspect ratio. So I think that that's pretty dope. You know what I mean? And, you know, the more I play around with this device, then obviously I get a little more comfortable and familiar with, you know, how things work. But as you can see, you've got a whole ton of things that you can, you know, choose to customize or whatnot. Now, the camera. This camera is a monster. Again, 12 megapixel primary sensor, 5 megapixel secondary sensor that is specifically for depth information. All right, now, let me see. Got the Poco box there. Got my Samsung water bottle right there. Just the different modes that we've got. We've got photo, video. We've got short video. Okay. We've got portrait. Okay. And it just gives you a little bit of a tutorial on just how close you need to perfect. Okay. We've got square. We've got panorama. And we've got manual. Okay, and manual is just pro mode. Manual is just giving you full, complete control to customize this camera exactly how you want to. So you're able to control shutter speed, white balance, you know, the ISO, all that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? You can customize right there. All right. So it's just going to take it back to regular photo. And I'm just going to take a quick picture of these two things. Okay, very fast shutter speed. Excellent photo. And then you see the watermark is already enabled by default. I did not turn that on, but it says Pocophone, shot by Pocophone F1. Okay, which is good. I always turn watermarks on because I'm always taking photos with so many different devices. And most of these photos, you know, I come home, I connect my phone to Wi-Fi. They just automatically upload to my Google Photos. And sometimes I've gotten confused and had forgotten which devices I had taken, which photo or which photos I had taken with certain devices. So I always turn on watermarks, you know what I'm saying, just so that I can stay on top of that, because you can get lost in the shuffle very easily dealing with all these different devices and these different cameras. So I like that fact right there. Now, you'll see we've got the auto flash, HDR. What is this? Oh, so again, this is an AI camera, you know, so that's the AI feature. You can turn that on or off. If you hit that little, those are to enable your filters. So you've got a bunch of different filters and things that you can customize from just to kind of change the overall look of the screen. Okay, we'll get those out of here. And then this is your settings. And as you can see, we've got settings, timer, time shift. What? Is that straighten, group selfie, beauty mode. If we go into settings, here's all our camera settings. We got save location, camera sounds, pocket mode, save previous mode, add timestamp or photo, dual camera watermark, show grid lines, focus and shoot, scan our QR codes, save original photos as well, press and hold shutter button, and for and that's for burst shots. So if you just hold the shutter button, and you're going to get a bunch of shots at the same time. Mirror front camera, camera frame, picture quality, fingerprint shutter, volume button function, anti-banding, auto exposure settings, contrast, saturation, sharpness, restore default settings. Jesus, man, you've got all kind of things to customize in this camera. You know what I mean? And so now the front facing camera is a 20 megapixel shooter. I'm not going to put that on myself right now because I'm looking crazy right now, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but I'm just going to go ahead and revert to some pictures that I took yesterday. So here's a picture that I took of myself yesterday. And this picture is amazing. You know what I mean? I'm not being conceited or anything like that. I mean, it's a good pic, but I'm just more so talking about the detail and the overall color saturation and how things look. Here's another picture. Really good. And, you know, considering the lighting, pictures, they weren't all blown out. They didn't look grainy because of the lighting. Things adjusted very well. And I'm not surprised by this at all because this my Xiaomi Redmi 5 Plus, which is what I'm recording with, this has excellent cameras. And I've had this phone ever since January of this year. And so, you know, this being, you know, a recent device, you know, with with Xiaomi, I mean, I knew for a fact that the cameras were going to be A plus, and they are indeed. And so definitely stay tuned for the camera review. That's going to be coming very, very, very soon. And just kind of browse through some applications. As you can see, my transition effect has been changed. Again, another something that you're able to customize. And how you do that, you just simply long press on the home screen, and then it's going to bring up some options. You know, you've got wallpaper, widget, and then when you go in the settings, then you're going to see transition effect, set default screen, fill empty cells, lock home screen layout, hide apps, and then you've got more. If you hit transition effects, then these are the different transitions that you've got to choose from. Okay, you've got slide, crossfade, tumble, page, cascade, rotate, and cube. And so those are the ones that you've got. Cube, that's what the rotation looks like. Okay, when I hit rotate, that's what it looked like. Cascade, that's what cascade looks like. Okay, when you hit page, it just looks like it's turning a page. Okay, which one is that? That one is tumble. Here's crossfade. And this is just the default slide. Okay, so I'm a fan of that rotate. So that's what I have it on right there. If you want to add widgets, you know, here's a whole widget list that you can add to your home screen. Go back. If you want to change your wallpaper, then it's just going to take you back to where all those wallpapers live. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is pretty much all I've got for now for the new Pocophone F1 by Xiaomi. This phone is just sweeping the nation right now, man, because of the specs and the price. You never would have thought that we'd ever see a device of this caliber with all the 2018 speculations for $300. Now, again, this phone was originally released in India, and that's what it's being charged. That's what it's being charged for in India. Again, in the US, it's upped a little bit, but not much. It's still a great deal. A lot of people feel like this is a OnePlus killer, and it's kind of hard to argue that. You know what I mean? Because it has the same specs as the OnePlus. You know, it's doing a lot of things, you know, that the OnePlus is doing. It's doing some things that the OnePlus isn't doing, especially, you know, with the expandable memory. You're not able to expand the memory on the OnePlus 6. You're able to do that here in the Pocophone F1, and this is still cheaper than the OnePlus 6. You know what I mean? So this just might be, ladies and gentlemen, indeed a OnePlus 6 killer. No doubt the OnePlus is definitely a flagship killer, but I think that we got a new flagship killing champion on deck right here with the Pocophone F1. So stay tuned for my overall final thoughts. You know, the pristine review is going to be coming shortly after I release that dedicated camera video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, this is all I've got. If you like this video, you already know, man. Live on that thumbs up button. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to expose yourself to tons of more videos that I've done like this one. And definitely stay tuned because I've got so much more content to come. Be sure to hit that notification bell so that you can be the first to view the content as soon as I upload it. As soon as it goes live, boom, pop up in your notifications. You can go ahead and check it out instantly. Be the first to leave your questions, comments. Leave me with any feedback, anything that I may have missed that you may want me to cover in future videos that I'm planning on doing about the Pocophone. Drop your questions and comments, and I'll be sure to add that to accommodate you guys to the best of my ability. All right? So again, thank you guys for tuning in. This is the Pocophone F1. I'm your man, Pristine, bringing you the content. You guys already know. Please stay safe. Get spiritually fit in 2018 because we are definitely living in the last days. And keep it pristine in every aspect of your lives. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.